Hi, my name is Octavia. I'm 31 years old. On Christmas Eve, in front of 20 people, my father stood up. He looked me dead in the eye and said, "Pay rent or get out." The room went silent. Only the fireplace crackled like it was mocking me. And then my sister Vera raised her glass, smirked, and whispered just loud enough for everyone to hear, "Good luck with that." The laughter spread like wildfire. Neighbors, cousins, even strangers joining in. No one defended me. No one blinked. So I gathered my things, walked out into the freezing Wisconsin night, and shut the door behind me for the last time. But what if that wasn't the beginning? What if my family had been preparing my exit all along? I used to think Christmas Eve was the breaking point. But the truth is, my family had been erasing me for years. When I was 17, a scholarship letter came. I never saw it. I found out later it was hidden, tucked in a box. Deadline long expired. Why? Because leaving meant freedom, and freedom meant they'd lose the girl who cooked, cleaned, and kept things afloat. The savings account my grandmother helped build for me, birthday checks, summer job wages, graduation gifts, emptied before I even knew it existed. Household needs, that's what Dad called it. Bills, groceries, little emergencies. But the emergencies always seemed to be Vera's. She got a car at 21, a shiny compact with a red bow on top. I got the bus schedule taped to the fridge. Dad laughed when I asked about it. "You've always been more independent," he said, as if being overlooked was some kind of compliment. Every holiday I was given the same chair, the one next to the bathroom door. People brushed past me all night, excusing themselves, never noticing. I was the only one who never truly sat at the table. Vera sat next to Dad, center of the room, center of every story, refilling glasses like a hostess at a gala. Me, I passed dishes, smiled politely, and disappeared behind the steam of my own plate. Even my name was negotiable. Octavia became Octa on place cards, O on birthday cakes, and once Madison, a name not even close to mine, on last year's gift tag. At first, I thought it was careless. Then I realized it was deliberate. Every mistake another small erasure. A reminder that remembering me wasn't worth the effort. And then came the words they loved to repeat. "You're dramatic. You're lucky we gave you a roof." This family isn't a charity. But what charity demands that the person they shelter pay the bills, cook the meals, and disappear quietly into the corner? I should have known then that Christmas Eve wasn't a beginning. It was a finale years in the making. Leaving that house on Christmas Eve should have felt like disaster. Instead, it felt like unclipping a weight I hadn't noticed. I hadn't realized it was strapped to my chest. For the first time in years, the silence belonged to me. No footsteps overhead, no Vera shouting into a phone, no Dad's TV rattling through thin walls. Just quiet. I didn't unpack much that first night, only the basics. A toothbrush, clean pajamas, the cheap lamp from my room. Still, I slept better on that half-made bed. Better than I had in an entire decade. The next morning, I woke before the winter sun. My body expected the old routine: tidy, brew, serve. Tasks no one thanked me for, performed without witnesses. Instead, I boiled water just for me and waited. Snow tapped the glass, small knuckles testing the world. My whole life felt smaller now, but finally mine. That first week, I built a new rhythm. I transferred bills out of my name, canceled subscriptions. I rerouted mail and cleaned each corner of the house, not out of obligation, but because I wanted it to shine. I bought groceries only I liked, arranged them neatly. No more labels to keep Vera from taking them. No more explaining why coffee pods vanished overnight. I started small rituals to remind myself I existed. Light a candle before bed. Keep lemons in a bowl. Stick a note on the fridge that said, "Stay." Meanwhile, my phone buzzed with guilt and commands. Group texts, missed calls, voicemails heavy with performance. I let them pile up like snowdrifts at dawn. Every hour I stayed silent. My spine grew straighter. On day 3, I printed every transfer to Dad's account. I slid them into a folder labeled receipts. For once, the records weren't for him. They were mine. For my sanity, my future, my version of truth. I opened the family photo album one last time. Cropped pictures, wrong captions, blurry edges where I vanished. This time I clicked remove access, then closed the tab. For the first time, they couldn't delete me, because I had already walked out on my own. The house began to warm as I settled in. The walls stopped echoing. The quiet turned honest. I invited no one, yet the space never felt empty. Each night I whispered before the light switch clicked. "This is mine, this is real." And still I knew the silence wouldn't last. In my family, silence means someone is loading ammo. Ready for the next strike, aimed straight at me. On day 3, I opened my bank app out of habit. Line after line read, rent home, neat, monthly, 4 straight years. I clicked one, then 10 more, my stomach tightening fast. I called the mortgage company, waded through nervous piano loops. The rep was careful. You're not on the account. And that loan is delinquent. 3 months behind, she said. Silence followed. No comfort. Only confirmation collecting in my chest. I wasn't living under his roof after all. He was living off my paycheck, month after month. Embarrassment came first, then heat under my collar. I downloaded every transfer, stacked PDFs like bricks. Paper trails keep reality real. I learned that young. Then my email pinged. Urgent credit alert. New account opened. A department store card. My name, my old address on file. Another alert. Home goods chain, same address, same name. Purchases. Designer heels, a Vitamix, an $800 dryer. 2 days before Christmas, someone bought a luxury blowout. On me. I froze my credit, filed disputes, opened the shipping details. Recipient, clear as daylight on the screen. Vera Calloway. It wasn't a mistake. It was theft with a bow. Shame blinked, then hardened into a clean, cold resolve. I called each bureau, set verbal passwords no one could guess. I used a phrase my mother wrote once, just for me. A knock came, measured, human, not the family drumbeat. Aunt Deborah stood in snow, pressed a thumb drive into my hand. Your mother would be proud. You're not wrong, she said, leaving. The video loaded. Vera's engagement party, phones and champagne. Someone asked off camera, will Octavia be a bridesmaid? Vera rolled her eyes. She's the emergency fund, the backup account. Harland laughed, glass raised. She doesn't mind. She's helpful. They didn't whisper. Why would they? No one disagreed. I paused on their smiles, polished, practiced, perfectly unashamed. In their world, I wasn't a daughter. I was liquidity. I printed the transcript, clipped it behind bank PDFs. Alerts, dispute numbers, shipping names, dates hammered into order. The folder got heavy, the way truth does when bound. The printer hummed like a metronome for my new spine. I booked a certified mailing pickup, signatures required on receipt. I slid 3 white envelopes onto my desk, 1 each. Harland. Denise. Vera. Evidence and terms, not apologies. Christmas Eve wasn't a beginning. It was their finale. And it was my opening statement, clear and prepared. Next, I would hand them the receipts. And consequences. I made 3 duplicate sets, zipped the originals tight. Certified mail was queued. These were hand-delivered copies. Same cracked driveway. I didn't knock. I walked in like a truth with shoes. Kitchen. Vera scrolling. Harland chewing. Denise stirring. No one greeted me. No one used my full name. I set 3 envelopes on the table. Open them, I said. Harland smirked. Then the first page erased the smirk. Bank transfers. 4 years of rent never sent to the bank. Delinquent notices. Credit alerts. Shipping with Vera's name. A transcript where you called me an emergency fund. Vera laughed. You printed the internet. I met her eyes. You forged me. You spent me. Harland cleared his throat. Be reasonable. Family handles family. Family doesn't commit identity theft, I said, steady and cold. My terms. Today, not someday. 1. Reimburse every dollar or we litigate. Itemized, public. 2. Destroy the cards, photo proof and a witness. 3. Stop using my name, address, number permanently. 4. Any charge after today triggers police, not conversation. Denise stepped forward, arms open like mercy. I stepped back. No more hugs from people who steal. Harland tried the old coaching voice. We gave you a roof. I slid a printout. Custodial withdrawals, zeroed account. You used my savings to pay that roof, I said. Grandma's gifts, my wages, graduation checks, gone. The roof wasn't over me. I was the roof. Vera's chin lifted. You love drama more than rent, Octa. Say my name, I said, then say theft. Denise whispered. We were struggling. Compassion? I am, I said to myself. Sign acknowledgements and a 30-day repayment schedule. Decline, and the next signatures are sworn statements. Harland's jaw worked. You won't call the cops on your father. I tapped the stack square. Reports filed, case numbers inside. Letters to counsel are queued. Stamps are paid. I came to offer you a quieter road. Vera hissed. You'll regret this when nobody shows up. Nobody showed last night, I said. I survived. I left the envelopes. Copies, the originals don't live here. At the door, Harlan tried one last line of credit. You walk out now, don't come back for help. I looked at the man who edited my life. I'm not asking, I said. I'm auditing. And the balance you owe is due. Winter met me like a clean ledger. Cold, exact. I watched my breath cloud, then vanish. I drove. Ink, not snow, my line was drawn to hold. But lines invite tests. Tests always come calling. The first ring hit before I reached the corner. I should have let it ring. I didn't. The phone rang before I reached the corner. I answered anyway. Harland was careful, coached. Let's talk before this gets uglier. I already filed, I said. Case number's inside. A pause. Then the old threat dressed as concern. You're alone now. I'm not, I said and hung up. Home met me with honest heat and a locked door. I filed the receipts. The weight steadied me. On a high shelf, one unlabeled box waited. Yearbooks, programs, a manila envelope with my name. Chicago University, full ride, 7 winters old. On the back, his note. She's too important here. The years landed, then slid off like ice from glass. Beneath it, a pink envelope in my mother's hand. To my Octavia, open when they doubt your shine. Her line was simple. If they say you're too much, remember they weren't enough to hold you. Behind it, a savings bond, the seed of this house. Even gone, she'd left me a way through. I wrote one final letter. Dates, amounts, requests. Reimbursements, releases, no contact terms attached. Fraud reports and freezes verified. Signed, scanned, sent. Closure, not spectacle. The group chat fluttered, then went quiet. No apologies. Sometimes silence is the closest to sorry. I opened a new file, unwritten her. A fund and clinic days for women like me. We don't need louder voices, just exits and receipts. Before bed, I taped 2 lines in the front closet. Family isn't ownership. Boundaries aren't betrayal. Lights off. The house kept breathing. Morning came clean across the floorboards. 1 cup, 1 kitchen, 1 quiet life. I wrote 3 words on a new page. I release you. Not to bless them, to keep myself whole. I'm not staying angry. I'm just not staying. If they rewrite me, I have the originals filed. If they knock, there's a lock and a letterhead waiting. If you've had to draw a line with family, tell me in the comments. You're not alone.